old Obama guy. I didn't get him. The farmer guy.
Obama guy.
Yeah, he looks like Obama, but older. He kind of did to me.
Old Obama?
Obama.
Hey, it's Alan Tudyk. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. Bye!
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe!
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this show. We discuss Moana 2, Walt Disney Animations motion picture release to start the holiday season. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in the parks every day, letting you know that Disney's Hollywood Studios' iconic Eiffel Tower returned as a water bottle.
Hey, happy times.
Get yourself. Yeah.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and tell you to get lost.
And that's right. You listeners have the easy part. All you guys have to do is to listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Rachel.
And look, the easiest way to support us is to book a vacation with Rachel, and a little piece of that comes back to support us. Also, please leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and wherever you access our show. Make sure you like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for all that they do for us. And before we get into it, speaking of water, y'all saw the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the Disney Cruise Line float? Did y'all see that?
Sure did.
Yeah.
I slept through it, but my niece was kind enough to send me a picture of it and said, Rachel was right. It does look like a pretzel.
I saw that picture. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like a crown. I would have never known those are ships stacked next to each other, but it looks like just a crown.
Oh, yeah. I can see how you would think that too.
Just the perspective. But
I thought it was cute, though. I liked the little song, and I thought they did a nice job. Like, it was very similar to the song that they did for The Wish, but they made it more like globally inspired because the treasure is supposed to be more like adventure. And so I thought that was cool. I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, they did well. I was more invested with Minnie's balloon to see if she would blow away because of the weather they were
Yes.
having. Oh,
Minnie's
wow.
balloon was cool. I liked that one.
Minnie's balloon and the carrier's outfit, I thought that was kind of neat.
It's always fun when the weather plays hell with those balloons.
Oh, man. They were wet. And they were riding low, for sure.
Riding low.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So enough of our jibber jabber. Of course, let's go discuss Moana 2. Welcome to the Hub, our main topic segment of the show. And for this Hub, it's time for a movie review. We discuss Moana 2, the Walt Disney Animations Studio offering for the 2024 holiday season, whose official date of release in the United States was on Wednesday, November 27, 2024. And Disney describes the movie like so, and I quote, Moana 2 reunites Moana and Maui 3 years later for an expansive new voyage alongside a crew of unlikely seafarers. After receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey to the far seas of Oceania and into dangerous, long-lost waters for an adventure unlike anything she's ever faced. This movie stars Auli'i Carvalho and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's directed by David Derrick Jr., Jason Hand, and Dana Ledoux Miller, and it's produced by Christina Chen and Yvette Marino. Moana 2 features music by Grammy winners Abigail Barlow and Emily Baer, Grammy nominee Opetaya Fua, and 3-time Grammy winner Mark Mancina. And I say this last piece specifically to point out the fact that Lin-Manuel Miranda was not involved in the music for this movie. And if you're wondering who Abigail Barlow and Emily Baer are, for our younger listeners, these musicians went viral on TikTok after writing the unofficial Bridgerton musical. There you go.
I'm holding out for the official one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Mark Mancina did the theme for Bad Boys, the movie. I remember he did the score for that.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
There you go. I mean, there's no Lin-Manuel Miranda, but whew.
He's got some clout, is what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, so that's a name. Out of all those names you said, that's the only one I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Oh, good. Yeah, I had no idea who that guy was. But I just knew him as a 3-time Grammy winner.
Yeah.
Bad Boys. Yeah, right on.
I know a few things.
As always, we present our review in 2 parts, a non-spoiler and spoiler-filled. As always, we will give you ample warning before going into the spoiler-filled part so that you can hit pause, go watch the movie, and then come back and hear our thoughts on the rest of it. So let's start with our overall feelings about this movie like we usually do. You know, if we loved it, liked it, disliked it, hated it, was bored with whatever. Who would like to begin?
Kind of liked it.
You kind of liked
it. Okay. It's cool to see the cast come back. I'm always a fan of Hey Hey, so, you know, I always get a good laugh there. The visuals are amazing. I mean, the colors all over the place. I mean, if you like a good visual, you're gonna get that from this. I am not a musical person though, so I think in this case, some of the songs, and maybe that's a reflection of what you're saying, like some of the music's kind of forgettable to me. But also, I wish that they would have not worried about the musical and then worked a little bit more on like plot. Like I think if we could have had a little less music, a little more exposition on stuff. I know we'll get into that later. I think that would have helped it a little bit more. But all in all, I mean, you know, not a bad sequel, but could have a little more to it to help to add to the Moana mythology, if you will.
You know, it's funny. Every time a song came on, I thought of you. I was like, because I mean, to me, I'll talk a little bit about my thing, but it just felt like out of nowhere. And I know in musicals, sometimes in musical productions, like the song feels like it comes out of nowhere, but really good ones kind of blended in. You can't tell what's background music, and then all of a sudden they start singing.
Mm-hmm.
This was like boom, and I was like, Eli's going to say something about this. I'm going to say something about this. I don't know.
A lot of the songs did sound forced. Like you could see where they were going to break into songs like moments before it happened. It was like every single time a character got depressed, time to sing the song.
Yeah.
And now everything's fine.
And that's not always true, right? Because I thought the same thing. And I thought, like, maybe I'm just older. I don't know. But it felt like they paused. Like I said this about, I feel like everybody buckle up because I feel like I'm going to say this sentence a lot. It reminded me of Wish in the way that like it felt like a stage production in an animated movie in a way that like took me out of it a little bit. And I was like, I don't know why it feels so choreographed and like not staged. What do they call it? Like blocked. It felt like they blocked out the scenes like they were a theater production and it's an animated movie. I just didn't know why it felt so like prescribed.
Yeah, I choose forced, but yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
But I agree with Eli. Like the visuals were totally stunning. Like really, really well done. The way like I felt like we've never seen fingernails before. You know what I mean? Like animated fingernail beds. Like they had a couple of scenes where they like zoomed in on her hands doing something and they had like I could just be like, I was like, whoa, she has really detailed finger beds. And I don't know that I've ever seen that in animation like that before. Just really good details. It was beautiful.
Now I want to watch it again just so I could see. I didn't notice that the first time, but now I'm curious. I want to see finger beds.
I did like, it's almost a cliche to say it at this point, that the movie's just visually gorgeous because a lot of these animated movies really, really are, even the bad ones. But this movie, it's just so beautiful. It's so stunning. It's so breathtaking. It made you want to book a trip to Hawaii right away. Seeing them on the boat and how there was a part there where you were seeing the dolphins swimming underneath them.
Yeah,
and then they went kind of
cool.
underwater.
Yeah.
Now, all I could think to myself is, man, I wish they would have made that Moana Animal Kingdom attraction. That would have been so cool.
They also had parts of it where the ocean looked like an animated character, like they did before, where the ocean's sort of like a character itself. But then they had other scenes where the ocean looked, I mean, it felt like I was on a cruise with that beautiful teal water, and it looked like water. It didn't look just like animated water. It looked like water. I thought the visuals were incredible.
Yeah, as visually stunning as most of these movies are, this one really stood out.
Yes.
Yeah, this is true.
So I walked into this one with very low expectations, considering that, as you said before, there was no Lin-Manuel Miranda involved, and that this was all set to be a Disney Plus series when Bob Iger was like, wait, why are we leaving money on the table? So I think that really helped me because while it's nowhere near as good as the first, I did find myself enjoying Moana 2. Don't get me wrong, the movie has a ton of issues. The middle drag so much. I checked my watch like 3 times, I think. I was like, really? I mean, are we ever getting out of this?
Mm-hmm.
The story wasn't near as good as the original. It wasn't like it was bad. I liked their cause of reconnecting the people of the ocean to one another, but a lot of it just seems similar to the first movie. Like there's a threat to Moana's home island. Moana has her doubts. Her grandmother gives her the encouragement she needs, and then she goes on a sea quest to go find something. They rescue Maui, and together they fight sea monsters and take on this huge elemental monster in the middle of the sea. Like it was exactly how it played out with some changes, but the overall familiarity of the story, it was there. So maybe it's lazy writing. Maybe they just didn't want to stray too far from what worked. They wanted to be a little bit more formulaic, and that's what makes a sequel, I suppose. But same with the songs. The new songwriters, I thought, did a good job of emulating Lin-Manuel Miranda's style from the first Moana. And it wasn't like the songs were bad, but a lot of them just started off, they almost sounded so familiar to it that you're waiting to hear them go into the song from the first movie. And then it kind of goes a little bit different, and it seems too derivative, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I could see that.
There was one song, with the exception of that, I thought, okay, I didn't even want to hear that song, but I was like, oh, now I'm kind of liking this. And I'll save that. But yeah, I just don't know that any of the music had any of the catchiness or repeatability of the first one. So those elements of it really kind of dragged it down. But what did work was that you still felt like you were on this magnificent journey. And I was kind of roped into Moana's character because she had a lot going on. And she seemed almost like a deeper character in this one than she did in the first one.
I agree with that.
And I don't want to get into all the stuff that she got into. We'll do that in the spoilers and everything like that. But I really enjoyed how they presented her character in this one. I felt like a lot of other characters got shortchanged. But that day she had to make a really good case in this movie for probably the best Disney heroine I've seen on screen.
No, absolutely. That makes complete sense. And I'm right there with you. I walked away with the same notion of that. Usually I'm a bit leery about sequels because I don't always find them as satisfying as original film, right?
Right.
But this movie, for me, if I had to give it a rating, it's just there. It's in the middle. I'm not close to liking it. I'm not close to disliking it. It's there. I was entertained, so if I had to pick a side, I would lean to the side of liking it, right? So I was entertained by it. But to your point, Danny, I found it also to be a bit formulaic in the order of how the story progressed. Ran almost parallel to the first film. Yeah, and once I latched into that particular idea of the formula, I couldn't get my mind off of it, and I was expecting the next thing to come, and they always satisfied, Now, none of what I'm about to say is a spoiler, because a lot of this you could see in the trailers, but talking about the formulaic aspects, the beats or the things that they wanted to make sure they hit. Throughout this movie, you got ocean interaction, you got Pua and Hey Hey comedy, you got Kakamori, you got Grandma's spirit running through the water, you got wild mythical creatures, as Danny said, and a descent into a weird world before getting to the third act battle, right?
Nice.
You got some kind of storm monster called Nalo, which must be like Eliath's brother or cousin or something. Which made me chuckle because, Eliath of MCU fame. They kind of look the same, but he looks meaner, right?
Well, it was like Takado, the lava monster from the first one.
Exactly. Right? It's the same. It was just a different monster that blocks Moana's path to the island that she must find, right? And then, of course, Moana saves the world. Right? We know that. We know that's going to happen. It's a Disney movie. That'd be crazy if she didn't.
It might be awesome, kind of like, oh, she was so close, She
goes in the spirit world and then she becomes a demigod. I was like, oh, this is a twist.
Okay. Now you're getting into spoiler territory.
I know. Yeah. But anyway, once I latched that whole formulaic thing, and it continued to meet my expectations. So then, I was entertained because I expected this to happen, and it happened. I was like, okay, good. I'm happy with that. That did take me a little bit out of it, but somehow it allowed me to relax and just enjoy the movie for what it is. A sequel greenlit by the current Walt Disney administration, right? The formula was safe. The music was not memorable for me. I didn't walk away humming anything.
No.
It just all felt safe.
I was curious about how you were going to feel about the musical part.
Yeah, well, it's funny because to Danny's point, you could hear bits and pieces that they took from Lin-Manuel Miranda, which makes sense. Yeah, it's like certain styles, even certain lyrics and stuff, and then they progress into something different. But it's like they never ventured to do their own thing and just make it their own interpretation of that music.
It felt like they took the Moana soundtrack, fed it into AI, and said, "Now make a song like this."
And what do you call it?
Right? Yeah, and she wants to. She's trying to do something here, and go.
Yeah.
That's basically how I felt about the movie. It was just it just felt safe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good way to put it.
So, like, let's go A, B, C, D, F. Kind of. Where would you be at on that then?
Grade the whole movie or just the music?
The whole movie.
Just making sure.
Because I'm thinking I'm somewhere between a B- and a C+, leaning more towards a B-.
When I first left the theater, I was at a B. But after I had the day to kind of sit and think and break stuff down, and I kind of went with B- on it. I mean, it's enough to keep it going. Like, again, if they come up with Moana 3, I would still see that.
Oh yeah.
But it's not enough that I was like, man, like it wasn't a Beverly Hills Cop 2. Put it like that. Like I like Beverly Hills Cop 2 more than I like Beverly Hills Cop 1. Even though the sequel needs the first movie to set things off, sometimes the sequel will outdo the first one. And this wasn't the case. It just was like you said, Kevin, safe.
Yeah.
So B- for safety.
It's funny you say about the sequel not doing the first one. I go back to like Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And how much I freaking love that one.
Mhm.
Right.
And that is, well, I mean, I don't know if it's technically sequel, it's just continuation of the story, but it's the Star Wars 2 movie, basically. And that was awesome.
Right. Because it was its own movie.
Right.
It had the same characters. You're like, all right, cool. And then you want to see where they take them. And as long as they take them somewhere different, you're like, oh no, like I'm worried. I mean, they did some different things for her here, but
it was the same. Yeah. The same, it wasn't like Temple of Doom.
Yeah. It wasn't its own movie.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah, like a lot of sequels, it's movie adjacent as opposed to being its own thing. Like Empire Strikes Back is completely different from New Hope. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, New Hope, yeah.
And Temple of Doom is completely different from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, it's like it's a new thing. I mean, it's kind of silly that everything would be happening in the exact same way, in the exact same order, the exact same things. So I like it when a sequel is bold enough to go down that road.
Exactly. Yes.
So I would knock them for saying that they didn't want to try and make it its own thing, but then again, they were trying to make a TV series. So maybe they did the best they could considering what the story they already had to begin with.
No, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, really.
I was actually leaning towards a C-, which is nowhere near failing, but it definitely is enough to get you a degree. C's will get you degrees. So I mean,
fair.
That's where that's where I'm putting this movie for now. I really like the first one. I enjoyed the first one,
and he's
lot.
a school counselor.
Yeah, I was like, damn, C-. Damn.
You're just on the very edge.
You go for that little Tim. Go for that
That's
C-.
Right.
Grab that brass ring.
Doesn't C-
right.
get degrees? No.
C's get degrees.
Oh, it definitely does.
Yeah. When you get into D territory, then you're worrying about GPA and you may not graduate.
Oh,
but if you
right.
stay within the C range, you'll still get a degree, just like the same 4.0 student. Doesn't matter. But
Rachel?
I digress. Yeah, Rachel.
I don't know. I don't know.
Grading's due tomorrow, Rachel. What do you got?
I know. I've been
You gotta
grading
turn in
a
your
lot.
grades.
I've been grading a lot because we just had the marking period end. I don't know. I'm at least the best I could say is a C-. I was thinking about maybe less. Like it might have been a fail for me.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. It might have been a fail for me. I don't know. Maybe it hung on to a C-, and I can talk about why in the spoiler part because I thought the ending was a highlight. So
okay,
yeah.
I like how you put that. I hung on to a C-.
But
yeah.
It was
close to fail though.
It did just enough.
Dang.
Just enough.
Curious.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Listening to your statements before, I kind of thought you were digging it more than you were not digging it. It sounds the opposite way.
Yeah.
She's still wrestling with this fact.
Yeah, because I get it though. There's other parts too. Visually, it's just awesome, but everything else, those other little inconsistencies, it kind of messes with it.
Yeah, it's like you're using your vocabulary words, but all your sentences are
Yeah.
I like that.
that kind of thing,
Gotcha.
They look great, but they just don't make sense.
Don't make no sense.
Right. Yeah. It looked really pretty.
Superficially good.
That's awesome.
Intrinsically, ouch.
I want Rachel to deliver bad news to me from now on because I could have swore she liked the movie from the way she said it. I mean, she had a great way.
No, she curved it though. She was gonna fail it, which is kind of what I'm curious about. But then she kind of swooped it up.
She threw that
to
bell curve
pass
on
it.
there. Yeah, okay.
I did. I scooped it up at the end. So it scooped itself up in the end. I think I think a C- is fair.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
fair.
Well, cool.
I would see it again. I would absolutely see it again.
Yeah, I would not.
Whoa.
I would not see it again.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to buy it the minute it comes out or anything like that, or go back to the theater. But I would watch it one more time.
If I wanted to see it, I'd go see it. you
Mhm.
know.
I would watch it again just to see if my opinion changes. Because maybe I don't know. I watched it in the morning.
I mean, there was an excruciating part in the middle. I do have to say that.
Yeah.
So I could. All right. Well, why don't we get
Let's
into the
do it,
spoiler
yeah.
section because we're beating around the bush here.
Yeah.
I'm
so,
kind of curious to see what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so listeners, man, that's our non-spoiler opinions on the particular movie. So make your decisions upon whether you want to see it. Do go see it, and then come back and listen to the rest of the show because we're about to jump into all kinds of spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any of that, now's the time to hit pause, and then don't say we didn't warn you because we're about to get into all that stuff. So here we go. Here comes the spoilers. It's your spoiler warning, and boom. Spoilers. Jazz hand. All right. So, to break the spoiler, the Kakamora are actually okay creatures. They just want to get home.
They just want love.
They just
That's
want to
it.
get home.
Want love.
This Nalo monster just blocking them from getting to their house.
That was
They're
weird.
one of the islands, and the channel and the stuff got blocked, and that's all they want to do. That's why they pissed off.
They were one of the highlights of the movie for me. I enjoyed the Kakamora.
I
did
love
too.
the little. I don't think they'd do that in name, but I like the guy that hung on.
the quiet one.
Yeah.
Well, the one that went on the
They were
trip
all-
with
yeah.
him. Yeah, he hopped on board, and
Yeah, he was funny.
I liked him.
I did like him. The whole setup though, with that crazy looking amoeba looking.
Oh, the
thing,
blobfish.
Yeah, the
and
clam.
then
Yeah.
and the booger.
Oh, the
thing.
clam. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, all right, that's too weird. But yes,
The clam was weird. The blobfish I thought was funny.
yeah.
Well, and I thought it was concerning because like usually blobfishes live very, very deep in the ocean. To be above, the ocean level, I'm like, dude, I'm surprised you're standing up so well.
Yes, indeed.
You know? But I guess so because they don't have the weight of the ocean on. 'Em. But anyway, I'm being a dork. But anyway, but yeah,
And the jerk.
yeah, and a dork and a dirk. But anyway, yeah. So the Kakamora, I enjoy them. I want like some Kakamoras now to hang out with. I want a drum with Kakamoras I can just throw at and then make rhythms.
I liked the Kakamora part. That was a highlight for me. Was the like bringing them back in and then like understanding more about that story.
Yeah, I liked the Kakamora. I wanted to touch back on this. Now, the one thing I will say about the Kakamora thing, though, is that was a kind of a problem. I'll go this way instead.
Okay.
Like, I don't know the little Kakamora dude's name that ended up on the boat with them. Just
I
like
don't know
I
either, yeah.
don't know that I remember any of her crewmates' names.
Nope, I don't remember
Oh.
a single one.
Those-
I don't. Yeah, I gave him nicknames.
Those characters, I like the idea of Moana having a crew. I really did it. Big ocean adventure. Maybe don't go alone this time. I don't know how the elderly farmer fit in at all.
Me
Like, I
neither.
get you need to get.
It was fun though. I liked him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate him. I mean, I get the idea that you need to be fed, but how did that even really come into play in the overall story at all?
Nothing.
I think it was just comic relief.
He wasn't funny too
Yeah.
much though. He just kept putting on the coconuts on the shoulders so he wouldn't
Well,
go about
the-
drowning.
But that was the
Yeah.
problem is that there was too much comic relief because you got Hey Hey's comic relief.
Yes.
You got the old guy's comic relief. You got the quirky, brainy, fast talker girl. She's a comic relief. The guy with the man crush on Maui, he's comic relief. Like everyone's comic relief, even Maui's comic relief to an
Yes.
extent. I think he does show a deeper side to his personality, whereas the other characters are all just relegated to comic relief.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean I didn't mind them so much. I mean, like I said, I don't remember any of their names at all. I mean, I get it. The Kookaburra, he doesn't talk, right? So I get that. He just goes out,
Yeah, he
knocks
talks.
out.
He
Yeah.
beats the shit.
Oh yeah, he'd do like sign language and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like again, there's too much going on where it's like, oh, okay, that's his part. I just remember him knocking out sea creatures. Like that's real. The sea creature would pop up. Like, how they gonna deal with that? And it would be gone. Like, well, that's effective. That's cool. The other characters, again, I didn't know their names. I call one of them Ship Girl Maya Rudolph because that's just like what she looked like. And then
I liked her. Yeah, I thought she was
I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah.
she had a one purpose with altering the ship. That wasn't too bad.
I couldn't really understand a word she said. She spoke so fast and
Was
was
fast,
moving all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old bomber guy, I didn't get him. The
Old-
farmer guy. I didn't get-
Obama guy.
Yeah, he looks like Obama but older. He kind of did to me.
Old bomb.
Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he didn't serve anything. Like you say, we need somebody to grow something if we have to get on the island. But you got to get on the island. So what good is he? I didn't.
He was just
understand
good to, like, when they got to the island, to fall off the boat and start kissing the ground. That was the only joke he was
Right.
good for.
that. And then
It was
they,
very cute.
Yeah.
and I'll say this for later, but the island thing was even weirder to me in the end. But yeah, I mean, and then other than that, Hey Hey is always funny, and then you like the pig and stuff. And then there's the comic scribe guy. I thought he was going to be more like, I thought he was going to be like some sort of narrator of some sort because of him making all the panels and stuff. Like, well, that's pretty cool. But he didn't. He was not that.
He was a goof.
He was
He was a goof.
He was
Yeah,
a
he was
goofy-
man love.
Yeah. So it was like, well, what's the use?
They were all archetypes. I mean, that's every single one of them. The fast talking girl reminded me of the Kate McKinnon in Ghostbusters. That character. The dude with the man crush reminded me of Jonah Hill in Saving Sarah Marshall. The grumpy old man reminded me of just any grumpy old man that isn't all that bad from any movie ever. I mean, they were all archetypes. None of them were really fleshed out characters. And who knows, maybe they just didn't want to get into all that because it would have made the movie go long, and formula says that you need to keep it
nice and short.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the crew was nice. I liked the addition of the crew. I just felt like they could have done this a lot better. Like, we should know their names.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
The names and their stories, and I can kind of understand why she brought them on there, but at the end it was like you said, it was nothing but, it was a blanket of comedy.
Yeah, and it was
from
just
those
too many
for the
of them.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. And they all blended together. So none of them really stood out from one another because they were all quirky. What I did like was the richness of Moana's character, though, as I said before. She's not one dimensional. I mean, she's like, really, you see her taking on challenges both big and small. Like, she's taking on the responsibility of saving her people, of having to figure out how to lead her crew and be a captain for the first time. But then there's the more human moments where she's struggling with self-doubt or the responsibility of being an older sibling. I liked how her and little sis could communicate each other through the ocean.
That is
like
neat.
they'd
Yeah.
that
draw
was
little
cool.
things, and I thought that was really cool and clever.
Yep. I liked that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that really drove it home when she was at a point by the Nalo monster when she started fighting him.
Yeah.
And I guess Maui said something to the effect that, the ocean can't help you here.
Right.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, now she's like disconnected from her sister, and it's like it's all kind of stuff that's happening. She can't even communicate out. I like that point, how they were able to communicate like that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The little sister dynamic definitely helped the character building because, of course, she was already happy to see her sister, and then her sister's leaving again, and then this time it was scarier, and she didn't know what to think. And yeah, I definitely, it made me feel for Moana a little bit more. And then, of course, having the sake of your people, but her people were already overly confident that, she could do it. So it was like, don't worry about that. But the sister, I was like, don't leave your little sister. Hey, she's so tiny. and the Moana fans, what did they call them?
Moana bees.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute too.
Maui had some good liners. Moana bees. There was that part where he's like, "Go get him, princess," and she says, "I'm still not a princess." And he's like, "Well, a lot of people think you are."
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
that was
Yeah.
fun.
I like
That
that.
was a great
Oh
line.
yeah, I
That
love
was good.
hey breakfast. Like I'd like that.
Yeah.
Boat snack upgrade.
Yes.
When he saw the bigger bua.
You look like a kidney stone, and you look like someone who would know what that is.
Yeah, that was fun.
So
Yes.
Maui brought the comedy as well. I was happy with Maui being back. He was a little bit deeper this time, a little bit more.
They kind of flip flopped him
Yeah,
in a sense.
he wasn't all hubris like he was before.
Yeah.
And so you can see where he's changed a little bit, and so that's character development. I like that. I like what they did with him.
I wanted to see how they kidnapped him. I was a little like, I mean, I get it. He just kind of did this.
The
Like-
lady with the bat.
Oh, my Tongi, bat lady. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was just there and caught.
Josh told me today that he was Maui was trying to get to the realm of gods or something, and that he got stuck there when he was trying to get to the realm of gods. I missed that detail.
I missed it too.
But I was like, okay, that I guess makes sense.
Well, he was at that door thing that Moana gets at later, and she opens it. Like, this is when they're inside the clam. Then there's like this stone thing in there or something, I thought.
Oh yeah. And she was able to open it with the I don't know. She had some password or something.
Yeah,
she just
right.
touched
Yeah.
it and then
Yeah.
the thing.
And it opened up. Well, because they needed to be a human, I think, is what I got from that.
Yeah, they needed them
Yeah.
both. They needed them both for it to work, which how would he not? He should know that because I don't know. He's
I don't
half
know.
God.
Well, so my understanding is he went there separately. for like different reasons.
And I think that would have helped the movie a lot because now let's say you give him that intro, he goes somewhere, he meets the threat, then boom, the threat captures him like he's a demigod. So you're like, well, how can this character, how can Moana beat that? See, and then you jump into all the happy and we dancing in the sand in the island stuff. And I think that would have kind of helped. But once it was like, well, where's Maui? And then it was like, yeah, he's captured. Like, wait, what? What happened? Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going.
Because it all happened at the beginning of the movie. It's like the setup made you think that the Bat Lady was the big bad.
Right.
In this. When in fact, she ended up being the crab character of this movie, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Which was further, like, if you watch the mid-credits scene, it was further cemented by the fact that they were both on screen together at the end.
Right.
As like a joke. The Bat Lady was there, and then also the crab dude was there as well.
And she was cool. Like, I thought they whiffed on that character.
Oh, big time.
I agree with that.
No, I agree with that.
Like, I wish they had made her the big bad or something or done something with her.
Made her bad.
She had probably the coolest song in the movie.
That's the one I was referring to.
She was interesting. I wanted to know more about her. I didn't really quite understand who she was. And then they never resolve her story. And then if you stay into the mid-credit scene, which we did, you find out like a tiny bit more, but like she's still stuck there. I don't get why she's still stuck if Moana was successful, because the whole thing was like, I'm going to let you go so that you can unstuck me by being successful. So we don't understand that either. So I feel like they whiffed on that character for no good reason. Like why have a different big bad?
Right.
One that you don't see. You never see him. He's not even really there.
He's just bad for the sake of being bad.
Yeah.
He's just a bad dude. That's it.
It was terrible. If we can cut this for a split second, like, I don't appreciate these people trying to do this MCU Thanos thing with this guy when he already got beat. Like, somebody need to explain to these guys, look, if you're a bad guy, he comes out and he gets beat already, don't try to give him this extra, he's on the cloud and I'm going to do this again. Like, no, bro, you beat.
But that's part of the problem is, did he get beat? Or was that just some monster that he summoned to go down there and he had nothing to do with it?
I thought that was him.
No, I don't know. I mean, you think if it was him, he clearly possesses the power to speak. He clearly has a look. You think he would... I mean, that's kind of one of the things I felt this movie lacked was a strong main villain.
I agree.
I think that would have helped it a lot. And if this cloud god was so invested in keeping the people from the ocean from connecting to one another, he couldn't be bothered to personally come down and make sure that this did not happen.
Yeah.
I mean, see him in that mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
He looks like a human, but not in the movie. I don't think they get to count the mid-credit scene in terms of plot development. Like, I don't think that gets to count because a lot of people left. So first of all, I think if you didn't see that scene, you walked out, you have no idea who the big bad was. You don't really know what happened to the Bat Lady and how, like that whole thread was just dropped.
Yeah.
Well, that was my whole point about the Bat Lady is nothing more than just the crab character in this particular movie. That's it. Just some kind of weird little being that kind of helps things along in a weird way, but not fully kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought they did a better job with the crab than they did with the Bat Lady.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I was gonna say my niece Emmy hated it. She asked me because she said if the crab was in the movie, she wasn't gonna go see it. She hates that crab.
Okay.
But at least the crab never did anything positive, though. How did the crab ever help out?
No, he was just an obstacle.
Right.
But he remained an obstacle.
Right.
Like he didn't help them. It was like weird. Like she was complex, right? She was an obstacle, but then all of a sudden she's helping them. And so it was like, oh, this is interesting. This is something different. And then we just don't ever hear from her again.
Yeah, I would have rathered because she showed flashes of being a charismatic villain, like Rachel said. She had the best song. In fact, I thought her song about getting lost, because isn't that the name? It's called Get Lost?
Get Lost, yeah.
It was Getting Lost, yeah.
I thought that was maybe her trying to manipulate Moana by giving her some terrible advice.
Right. Turns out it's good advice? It was so weird.
It worked oddly because, well, I mean, I guess we can get to that now. Like stepping foot on the island simply by swimming to it, that counts? I mean, wasn't there a whole part of having to raise the island?
That's what I thought.
That sounded like more of the challenge in stepping foot on it. She just swims and just goes, boop, and that's it.
At this point, I was so excited for any kind of plot development. That great.
I thought, no, but I'm with you, Danny, because I thought that was a cheat. Because at first I was like, oh man, like I thought they were onto something because Maui was trying to lift it and then he was having all these problems. Like, all right, cool, we're getting a struggle. And then she's like, well, this won't work this way. We got to do this other way. I'm like, what other way is there? It's an island that's buried underwater. And then when she just, I'll get lost and swim down there. I'm like, no. I remember saying to myself, no, don't tell me you're going to just touch it. And then she touches it. And then it's like, I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just a whole big setup to set up the Bat Lady song. Or the advice that she gave her was like, there's always a different way. The whole thing was that they all had to do was just set foot on the island. That was it.
Yeah, the better advice would have been think outside the box, not just purposely go get lost and wing it and see what happens. I thought that was really bad advice. So like, yeah, if she turned out to be the big bad and she manipulated Moana, and then she was the one to control this creature when she defeats them, and then the mid-credit scene, you see this cloud god who's all angry because she failed him and the whole thing didn't work, and now he's going to be coming back with a vengeance. I could have understood that a little bit better than what we actually saw.
Yeah, or he gave her his powers, or like you said, made a minion or something. And then that was trying to stop them, but I thought it was him as well as the Bat Lady. The Bat Lady, that whole sequence just that wore me out. I mean,
yeah, that's the part where I started to get bored.
Yeah, I kind of was like
that whole time down there in that
weird area,
weird clam,
in the clam,
yeah,
the clam
that's
world.
when I started to get bored.
Yeah, the fish thing was funny when all the fish were coming up by Maui, and then they had to puke on them or whatever that was.
Yeah,
I thought that was entertaining.
Yeah, but that got old. I mean, you got that blobfish you throwing up on people. You got the fish that throw up. I'm like, enough with the throwing up all over people.
Yeah, you
dart in the butt.
So many boogers.
You got dart in the butt.
Yeah, that's totally fair. You were talking about the songs. That song was not the catchiest song to me. I liked the Maui one when he was singing to Moana.
So he's trying to pump her up. Yeah,
I thought that was cool. But maybe it's because I liked all of them. They were running and jumping up stuff, and maybe that helped it.
You liked what was visually happening.
Yeah, I liked that was all going on while that was going on. But
all I could think of, this is Know You're Welcome.
Oh, that's fair.
That's all I could think
When
of.
I was listening to it, all I could think of is they are trying way too hard. This is hard to listen to because of how like overproduced it is.
That was good. And that was going to lead me to my question, which I was going to say this. I said this in the pre-spoiler part. Like, so because Lin Miranda wasn't involved, they couldn't use any songs from the first movie then?
No, they used the song.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They quoted it.
Well, at the end, I turned to Josh. I was like, well, that song at the end was pretty good. And he's like, yeah, it was the only one from the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
We know the way.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's
like,
fair.
that's the one they borrowed from Lin Manuel.
Because like the what is it? I'll Go Beyond or whatever the song she sings. I'm like, well, can't you just still sing,
How far
I'll go?
She sang
and that, like,
How Far I'll Go. This one, she did have like a same song though. There was like a similar moment.
Yeah.
And the song was like, I felt like every single song was a weird ripoff, like a bad ripoff of the songs from the first movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was like, oh, this one feels like the what's the one where I should have had the soundtrack out, but the one where she's like, we build the coconuts, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it. Hang on, I'm doing a terrible job.
Oh,
at this.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's it's
like,
one of the opening numbers. Yeah,
Where you are.
Where you are, yeah.
That's, you got it. I love that song. They had that song, but bad. Not
What could be better than this?
Yes, right.
Mhm.
It was like the same song, but it was like
You win.
it was like beat
Yeah.
for beat. The movie was so it was like same but bad.
Okay.
Then they had a How Far I'll Go song. This one was called, I'm gonna go back. The one that was called Beyond.
Beyond.
How
yes.
Far I'll Go and Beyond.
Yeah.
the
okay.
AI version, as Danny mentioned.
Right.
earlier.
And it was like, but it was not as good.
To where I'll go and beyond.
Beyond. I'm
Yes.
going beyond. I thought the How Far Would Go thing, I just always take that to be like an Imperial March, or like basically I always associate that song with her. So that's why I was like, why can't she just sing that song again, but with more oomph?
Elsa doesn't sing Let It Go and Frozen 2, though. I mean,
That's
you can't,
fair.
yeah.
But I'm just, that's how I associate something, especially if it's like a sequel. But to be fair, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
But it was the same song.
No, you're absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not just sing the original song? Everybody could sing with it. You got a nice tune going.
Yeah,
but-
they could have done a reprise. They do that in musicals.
Yeah.
Where they
I
just-
mean, I didn't mind that they'd had new music. I think they should, but it was just not, I don't know. It was like the same ideas, but not as good.
They played it
so
safe.
It just felt cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, the executives didn't let them just have at it. They didn't just let them just go crazy with it and just create something completely new within the style. They played it safe. They wanted the formula. They wanted something that was guaranteed to make box office numbers on Thanksgiving weekend.
And they probably had to do this quickly too, because again, if this was a Disney series, I doubt there was going to be music in it. Just very rarely do you see musical Disney Plus series. So these people probably had to come up with a soundtrack on the fly.
That explains a lot that if it was going to be a Disney Plus series, that explains a lot about how it would have been paced and stuff. Because, yeah, if it had been a TV show broken up into a bunch of episodes, it might have been a little easier to digest.
I could see that. And that's one of the rumors that Lin-Manuel wasn't involved with this. He was doing the other movie. What was the other movie he's doing?
Mufasa.
Mufasa. He's
Which
doing
looks
Mufasa.
so good. I was like, it was so fun. Well, this is like off topic now, but we saw the preview for Mufasa, and Josh was like, I don't want to watch that, but that preview was really good. It's like that Lin-Manuel music sounds really good. I actually am interested in the story. He's like, because he hated the live action Lion King is his like ultimate favorite Disney property. He hated the live action version. He felt like it didn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wanted to hate this too. And then he saw the preview. He's like, shoot, I want to see that. It's like, oh no, that looks good.
I'm with him. I don't want to see it. I still don't want to see it though, just because I'm kind of burnt out on the Lion King story though, not because like I didn't dislike the live action remake of The Lion King as much as you could call that live action. It's fine, but I'd rather just watch the original. But yeah, I'm just kind of over the story of it.
Well, anyway, but that's what Lin-Manuel Miranda has been up to with Disney.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been busy with that. Yeah.
I have a couple of thoughts about why this was a C- for me.
Okay.
Almost a fail. The C- is that it was visually beautiful. And I felt like the end was compelling. I was invested a little bit in the end.
By the end, you mean what part? When they
like
returned back to the island, or
once they got to the stormy part.
Okay.
Like the storm is coming, the weird light up snake. You know, like there was the weird light up snakes when they first got
serpents.
to the,
Yes.
Yeah. And then they had a daytime. And that's when Maui did his like weird Chihu song.
Mm-hmm.
And then so after Maui's song that evening, they go into the storm. And I felt like that was when it picked up for me. I was invested at the storm.
Okay.
The fact that like, and she's like, oh, they don't care about you. He cares about the humans. He's attacking us. Like that got kind of interesting. And I liked all the ancestors coming when she like sort of died for a second there and then came back, and they played the really good music from the first movie. I was like,
okay.
I was interested in all that. So that helped to hang on. But so here's what I was frustrated by. And part of this, I'm sure people can criticize me for, because I'm going to use like basically my favorite Disney movie as an example. But this sequel failed for me in all the ways that sequels normally fail. And for me, I think the appropriate comp to this, like comparison, is Frozen 2. So I came into this with like, there is a way to do a sequel well. And I think they did it in Frozen 2. And this one I felt like was a miss, and it should have been just as good. And I think I was thinking about it a lot today. I think the problem that they had for me was that in Frozen 2, we hit a lot of the same beats. Like even if you look at the songs from Frozen 1 to Frozen 2, like kind of similar. They had similar songs at similar moments and similar beats. I think the music in Frozen 2 is far superior, but they use the same musicians. So that's part of why, right? They had the same writers. But Frozen 2 helped us to learn more about the story we already loved, right? Like we're learning Elsa and Anna's background. We're learning the background of Arendelle and how it became. We're learning the back, like it's more of like a backstory movie. So we're like getting a deeper understanding of the story we already liked. And I felt like Moana 2 just tried to add on to something and used all the same beats. So there was no deepening of my knowledge of the universe and the extension wasn't a compelling extension. Like, I don't feel like I know anything more about her world that I didn't know before. I feel like I know very little more about her. It just felt like an add-on, not a deepening of the story.
I did like the fact that I didn't realize that her little island was just so cut off from everybody else. I did like the fact that they were looking to find other islands, other people out there, and trying to establish a connection with a world beyond themselves. I thought that was compelling. But then again, I didn't like Frozen 2, so that might be part of the thing. Like, I watched Frozen. I've only seen it once. I didn't feel the urge to see it again after that. But maybe I'll have to go back and rewatch it to kind of get a sense of all that, because I kind of bought into what they were doing in this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say she does go ahead and she becomes. I don't know if she's becoming a demigod in her own right, but I mean, apparently, right? She died, or she comes back, and then she's got all this
She's like
mythical
quarter
stuff on
demigod.
her. Yeah,
10% demigod.
The
maybe?
board, her little board has more on it than she does. But I mean, so I think again, I was like, oh, that's no problem. I can see the transitioning of that character, and again, the movie's solid enough that it could lead into a third one. And then you could kind of be like, I didn't see this one too well. Now I'm on the third one. Like, that happens a lot too in sequels. It's worse enough, but when you get to the third one, everybody could kind of say, all right, well, this is what we could pull out of the first two. So I could give them that. The mission was cool in the fact that, they had to find other people and stuff. But then this was the thing that killed me personally. It's just, I thought it was funny. They go ahead, they go through all that work. They rise up this big old island. They're like, yeah, we got the island. Then people start showing up. Then they leave and go back to Moana's place. And then all those people come back with them like, no, you got your own island, bro. You need to stay over there. Like, why y'all over here? Like, why you in our house?
Because Moana made gumbo. And so everyone
That's what it was.
stuff.
I missed that part.
Yeah, she's like, hey, y'all come to my house. We'll have the party.
I just thought it would have been a nice culmination for the end of the mission, let's say. I thought maybe Maui was getting them to go on the boat, to go over to the island so then everybody meets. I mean, it was the same thing, but I just thought if you've gone through all that work for that, the least you could do is have that be your final payoff.
I took it to mean that what happened was that island was like, for whatever reason, the nexus, if you will, of it was like a lighthouse, like a gathering place, that central hub united the world. But once you meet there, then you go to each other's home islands and you get to know each other and explore. Like, it's not everyone just moves to that island. I mean, you still have your home islands. It was just like that was.
It's like the airport,
a meeting hub.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was a terminal. Yeah,
because I was like, well, go party. Everybody go party there. Like, I was like, I get that she had to come back, but I was like, whoa, where everybody else coming from?
Well, I mean, you've seen your own island and look, sand, trees. Okay, let's go see. Maybe they got something better. What did they invent? Like, I dug the ending. I like the idea that they would have gone from island to island.
Ending.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was funny. I didn't
it.
hate it. I just thought it was funny that was
The thing I didn't like was the death of Moana. Like, because that had no one fooled, because you just pulled the exact same trick with Maui. Where he got Chewbacca'd in the sky and blew up.
Yeah.
But next thing you know, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's floating around in the water. And good. He's cool. And now guess who else is dead? And like, I remember like looking over at Lily, like, I'm wondering if she's just looking, and she catches me looking at her. I'm like, you think she's dead? She's like, no. Cool, just checking.
I don't know. I just didn't think this particular backstory was all that interesting, or it wasn't a backstory, isn't it? It was a news story, I guess. But I just didn't think it was all that interesting. I'm with you. Like, I like the idea of like the finding the other people, and I don't know. I just wish it felt more meaningful to who she was. I don't know. It missed something for me that I didn't feel like it was really a deepening. So I did a little bit of like research. I don't know if research is I did some Googling and
Google research.
I found the last 5 Disney releases. I included Pixar. And according to my Googling, so if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I think this is right. The last 5 are Strange World, Elemental, Wish, Inside Out 2, and Moana 2.
Ooh.
That's a rough last 5, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Like, bummer. So for me, out of that last 5, the easy winner is Inside Out 2.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
agree
so.
with that.
And then I had trouble after that. Now I've never seen Strange World, so I can't really speak to that movie.
I didn't like it.
Did I watch it?
I've not seen it. I don't know. I've not seen it, but the other ones I saw, and I struggled with if I had to sit down and watch another movie, like someone told me I was required to pick Moana 2 or Wish. Which one would I want to rewatch? I genuinely don't know what I would pick.
Really? Oh,
I thought they both were disappointing.
I would pick Moana too.
Yeah, I would definitely pick Moana too.
I wasn't a fan of Wish.
No, not at all. Wasn't a fan of Wish. Wasn't a fan of Strange World. Wasn't a fan of what was the other one? Oh, Elemental. Yeah, wasn't a fan of that.
I actually liked Elemental. That one is an easy number 2 for me. And then Moana and Wish are like I feel like they tied for yuck.
Yeah,
tied for yuck.
Elemental would be third for me, and then probably Wish, and then probably Strange World.
Yeah, I never saw the Strange World one either, so I don't want to judge that one if I haven't seen it. But I enjoyed Inside Out too, mainly because it was like kind of unpredictable. And
yeah.
This one is still fairly unpredictable. Moana is fairly unpredictable. Elementals was just too unpredictable. I mean, too predictable, I should say. And Wish was like all the predictable. Like, I mean, yeah. So I would go Inside Out, then Moana, and then Wish and Elemental. That's tough. I guess I'd have to go Wish, then Elemental, and then I just haven't seen that other movie.
Okay,
it's funny because it's like the top 2 are going to be like Inside Out 2 and Moana 2, and both movies have really established worlds. Whereas these other ones that are left over, it's like I know nothing about them, and they were just something different.
Even visually, those 2 movies are better.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
Yeah,
they probably had a better budget
think,
for sure.
Yeah, they had a bigger budget, I'm sure.
That's very true. Yeah. I guess Wish is for a bigger budget now.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So those are my top 2, but the rest of them, they could go in whatever order they want. They could change every day if they wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't care what order you in.
I was bummed out by this movie. I thought it was. I did feel like when I walked out and kind of Googled it and read a little bit more about it, and it said it was supposed to be a sequel. I was like, that tracks. It felt like they put a sequel on my movie screen. Because have you guys watched that? You probably haven't because your kids are older than mine. But that Rapunzel series that they did on the Disney Channel, the Tangled TV series. So this felt like that series in all the ways that made that series perfect for Disney Channel and not appropriate for a movie screen. The music is similar but lame, and they have similar voice actors, but the story is kind of weird and it's not fully thought out, and the characters aren't developed enough, and they just kind of show up and there's a ton of them. Anyway, I felt like this was similar to that movie or that series. And so I sort of felt like, yep, I guess that makes sense that it was supposed to be a series.
That's a good point. Because I guess when you really think of it, there's not too many things in the world of Moana for her to do. She's on an island, then there's water. Like there's not too much. I mean, if they do a third movie, somebody has to attack the island. That's the next possible.
That would have been cool.
That's a good point.
That has to happen.
I would like that.
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna do. It's gonna be Nala versus Maui, and I don't know. Is Moana now like a half demigod or semi demigod or something?
I think
like
she's
that?
a semi demigod.
Yeah, semi demi,
semi demigod.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
it's like she a quarter god on the mama left side.
Just her arm.
I'm in a bad place with this movie. My daughter asked that question in the car today because I was like, "Well, guys, that 24 hours out. What did you think of that movie?" And my family was kind of like, it was fine." And then my daughter Heidi was like, "Well, is Moana a demigod now?" And I was like, "Do we even care?" She was like, "Good point. I don't care."
So your daughter did not like the movie?
They were kind of with me on it. They were like, it was fine. I think they enjoyed going to the movies. We don't go to the movies a ton. And so like we wore PJ pants and we sat in the recliners and we had tons of junk food. And I think they enjoyed that experience.
I hear that.
I don't know that the movie itself was great. My daughter also was a little sour. We weren't going to see Wicked.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to go see Wicked instead. And I was like, well, I got to watch this one for the podcast. So sorry.
You're coming.
Yeah. My wife's aunt was the same way. She's like, I thought we were going to see Wicked. It's like, no, I got to watch Moana too. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I like Moana 2 as well. And then I asked them, like, my daughters all like Moana 2. I asked them like maybe 3 times between when we saw it and like even before I left. I was like, you also like the movie? And they're like, yeah, we liked it. And I'm like, okay. And then I asked my wife, and she's like, what do you think? It's like, it's just kind of there. I'm like, that's how I feel. It's just kind of there.
When we walked out, we asked her, and Lily liked Moana too, and it seemed like Anna did as well, and so did Jessica.
Yeah,
like we were all of the opinion, like, that was not earth-shattering. It's like, I'm not walking out of here, skipping along. But I mean, for a sequel, what I walked in with very low expectations on, it was fine for what it was. And maybe that was the key, is this: if you walk in there expecting to be disappointed and you walk out like, hey, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
that doesn't
maybe
hurt.
that's what it all comes down to.
There were some funny one-liners in the movie, though.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
for sure. Yeah.
Maui had most of them.
Yes.
But I liked the line about the butt dial. That was funny.
Oh yeah, y'all don't know about that yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
They,
In
they
two,
had some
he
other
gave a
ones, too.
timeline in 2,000 years.
Yeah,
You totally
he's
get
like, that'll
that.
make
Yeah.
sense.
It's like, so what?
Yeah.
This took place in the 1800s or sometime.
Yeah, the Moana bees. We talked about this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Moana
yeah,
bees,
yeah. Moana bees
the
is good.
princess joke, that was funny.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
funny jokes in that movie. They overused the hell out of Hey Hey in that opening sequence.
Oh, I had a chuckle every time.
I
he
mean,
showed up.
Hey Hey screwed up so many things just in that first 2 minutes.
I just can't. When they zoom in on him with the bug eyes, just like, I can't. I have a chuckle every time. I can't.
Hey, look, that's just all to say Alan Tudyk was brilliant in this. He returned to be
Yes.
Always.
always awesome. Just to hear
Oh,
him
he's
do that
good,
thing.
dude. I had a good laugh.
Alan
off him.
Tudyk is great.
He will be here for New Orleans Fan Exposition.
He will.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. We'll
He'll
have
be
to
up
try to
there.
catch him for
Yeah.
sure. Well, look, y'all, these are our thoughts about Moana 2, the sequel. Let us know what you think about this movie. You know, hopefully we watched it already and are listening to the spoiler-filled section. Or if spoilers don't bother you, welcome. But go watch the movie. Let us know what you think. And get in touch with us, and we'll let you know how to do that in just a little bit. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed that discussion about Moana 2, the sequel. If you want to learn more about us, magicourway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions on Moana 2, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or send us a text message. Yes, I did say text us at 1-815-MOWEEKEN. That is 1-815. I'm freaking early.
Weekend.
I must have forgot to say something. 669-4226. That's
You were,
crazy.
like really stretching the note.
I know, because I'm sitting there, I'm listening to music, like, oh crap, I'm going to get out of this early. What the hell did I not say? It's like, no, I said everything. Well, damn. There you
Talks
go.
a little fast.
Just a little off. Yeah, I was talking like that one girl on the ship or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Whatever her name was.
yeah. Ship girl.
Ship girl. Yeah.
There you go.
I know what it
We
is.
should know. What a tragedy. Anyway.
That's exactly an excellent point about this
Because
movie.
she was the best one of all of them.
I thought she was
And I
great.
Yeah,
Still don't know her
I
name.
liked her the best.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the little sister's name. It was like
Nope.
Sienna or Sienna.
Little wine.
Sammy.
I don't know. Yeah.
What's the
Sammy.
bat lady's name? I don't know.
Tanuana.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah.
I had to look that one up because all I remember was the Bat Lady.
It was like Mufasa or Magafasa.
My-
I don't
What was
know.
the name of the island they were looking for? I don't know.
Matafanui?
Papatui? Papua New Guinea?
You might be close, but that's not it.
Matafui.
Not the food act.
Safidi?
Like, come on. How good could this movie be if we can't remember any of this?
Well, okay, but the island thing they did say that a lot. We're going every 10 seconds with the island name.
Yeah,
I just
and
don't
we
remember
still
it.
don't know it.
Yeah, I still don't know.
That's
it.
Well,
fair.
you know what's funny is like I remember their island name, which is Mountanui,
Yes.
which I know is not this island's name.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
No, you're close. The island they were looking for was similar in name.
Okay.
But it didn't even have a name like
Montefifi?
Island of the Lost Tribes or
Montefifi?
something. Like you could remember that,
Oh, yeah, like the Island of the Damned.
Something. Yeah.
Something.
We got to resurrect that.
Oh, Motu Fetu.
We can't remember
Motu Fetu.
Motu Fetu.
I'm gonna remember that.
I don't know.
Muhammad Hamada.
Exactly.
That may be why, like, some of these names are complicated. It's not like, hey, the island was named Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I
You
guess
got-
that's right. I mean, that's part of it too. But like, how good is your story development if we can't remember a single new thing we learned from this movie?
Yeah, no
like
100%.
a single. I guess the god. You guys were. Was it Nalo?
Not
No.
Nalo or Nato. Nalo.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
No,
I
not
don't know.
Nato's a Japanese bean
think it was
curd.
Nanu.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
that's the
right.
name of the island they were trying to resurrect.
Yeah.
They knew was the island.
Yeah, I just realized, and that's a good point. The only reason why I remember Mountanui is because Moana would say it all the time. My
Yeah.
Moana from Mountanui, you aboard my vessel.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. She
Yes.
constantly said that, which is why I know the name of the island.
That's fair.
Okay.
But
that's
hell,
fair.
I don't even know what the hell the name
You're
of
right. It is Nalo. It is Nalo.
It's Nala?
Nalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nala.
Right.
Oh,
Which is like
we got
Nala.
that right.
It's like
That was it.
Nala's cousin on her father's side.
Right.
We weren't even sure though.
Yeah. I
like
Like
that
if
new
we had to
dude.
bet on it, we wouldn't.
No. I would lose. I would lose trivia.
This
for
is
sure.
long for the ending, but here we are.
Shit.
Oh,
It'll
we're still
true.
recording? I thought we were in edit.
And anyway, man, I don't know. See, whatever the island's name is, could be named one of your bots that you encounter in life.
Don't make me try to even put that in the ending because yeah. I'll try for you, Kev.
I do better with coconut language.
Oh,
yeah, I'll do that.
fair enough.
So tell them about you stuff that you do, man.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. As always, visit ivorycomics.com where you can see all the work that I produce, fully colored pages. And the only ad for them is for the Magic Our Way podcast. This work includes Project Geisha, The Molly Be Damned, and Savages. Also, on the website, you can find blogs and interview posts. So, as always, I appreciate that support, ivorycomics.com. If you want to check me out on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Eli Ivory. As long as you're a real person, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're a bot from Kahawa, Manu, I do not need to meet you. Mahalo, out this place. There you go. Also on Facebook, there's a Project Geisha fan page. You can always look that up, facebook.com/Project Geisha. On Instagram, right up there, posting up hearts and the likes and seeing what you guys got. EIV504 is where you can find me there. And of course, on X, I can be found at Hancock 10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness, and thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation to Mautanui or Motu Fetu or the Philippines, you can do so with Rachel. Rachel, tell them how to do this.
Yeah, the Philippines might be a little easier.
Yes, indeed.
We exist.
Yes. Or Hawaii. You could go to Aulani. I want to go to Aulani after this.
Oh,
I wish
me
it
too.
wasn't such a long flight.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But it's better than taking that canoe, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, canoe would be slower.
Well, not if you got Ship Girl to help you out.
But no matter how you get there or where you'd like to go, I would be honored to help you plan the trip. I book all kinds of destinations, not just Disney, but I do book all Disney destinations and Universal Parks and Resorts, plus Royal Caribbean, Virgin Voyages, and major hotel brands around the world. So if you are interested in any one of those vacations, please reach out. The best way to reach me is my email. That is RACHEL @magicourway.com, Rachel@magicourway.com. You can also text message me or call me. My number is 978-432-WISH, WISH. And if neither of those things work, you can find me on social media. My Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok are all Our Family Magic. That's the letter R and then the words Family Magic all put together. And the best part about booking a trip with me is that I can help as much or as little as you like. And it's absolutely free. There's no extra cost for booking with me, and a little piece of what you spend on your vacation, instead of just going to those big corporations so that they can make more mediocre movies, it comes back here to this podcast so that we can make super compelling weekly content for you and your family and your friends and everybody else that you share this podcast with. So we thank you so much for your support, and it takes no extra effort and no extra cost. And I'm looking forward to helping you plan a trip. Please reach out.
Awesome, yeah. And I think I just Google searched. I think the Disney Adventure is going to have 3 to 4 day sailings to Mautanui and Motu Fetu and all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can book it through Rachel, I'm sure, at some point.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, don't let it be through demigod hurricane season because you know how tough that is.
No,
to get
you don't
through.
want that.
That's tough, yeah. It's definitely tough.
Aren't they typhoons out there? Isn't it different?
Yeah, it's essentially the same storm. They're cousins.
Yeah.
They all family.
They all tied together.
They all family at the club. The club.
They all know what's going on. They
Well,
want to
down
see
to
each
club.
other.
Yeah, just one's in the Pacific, one's in
I mean, what, storms can't have family reunions?
That's right. They tried to, and that's why they built the Panama Canal.
Absolutely.
The more you know. So if y'all want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/magicourway. And another option to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye!